There was a man who did everything right. He showed up early every time. He remembered birthdays, anniversaries, the small details other people forget. He apologized first, even when he wasn't wrong, because keeping the peace felt safer than being right. He rearranged his weekends around other people's schedules, his opinions around other people's comfort, his silence around other people's moods. He said yes when his body was screaming no. For years, he built an entire identity out of being agreeable, dependable, easy to love. He believed, quietly and completely, that if he just did enough, gave enough, bent enough, the approval he was owed would finally arrive and stay. And then, one ordinary afternoon, she left. Not because he had failed her. He hadn't. That was the part that broke him. He had never once failed to please her, and somewhere along the way, pleasing her had stopped being attractive. It became predictable. It became weight. A man who has no edges is easy to lean on and impossible to desire. The friends he bent over backward for stopped calling first, because a man who is always available is never truly missed. The promotion at work went to a man who said less, asked for less, and delivered more, because certainty reads louder than eagerness in any room. He sat alone that night with a question that breaks most men before it ever rebuilds them. Why wasn't doing everything right enough? He replayed every sacrifice, every accommodation, every moment he swallowed his own needs to keep someone else comfortable, and none of it added up to the one thing he thought it guaranteed: being chosen. Here is the answer nobody wants to hear, because it indicts the very thing we were taught to be proud of. Being good was never the problem. Needing to be seen as good was the problem. Somewhere along the way, this culture sold you a lie, dressed up as virtue. It told you that kindness without boundaries equals love, that being agreeable equals being valued, that if you just try hard enough, for long enough, the approval will finally land and stay for good. It does not work that way, and it never has. Chasing approval does not build respect. It quietly dismantles it, one small surrender at a time. It drains your attraction, your authority, and eventually your sense of who you even are when no one is watching and there is no one left to perform for. If that story sounds familiar to you, if you have ever done everything right and still watched someone walk away without an explanation you felt you deserved, type this in the comments right now. I seek my own approval first. Do not write it as a slogan. Write it as a decision, the first one you are making tonight, before the rest of this video asks anything more of you. Because what you are about to hear will change the way you walk into every room for the rest of your life. Every human being operates on an axis, whether he has ever thought about it or not. Some men build that axis internally, rooted in their own judgment, their own standards, their own private sense of worth that does not fluctuate with the weather of other people's moods. Other men build it externally, and without realizing it, hand the deed to whoever happens to be standing in front of them. A partner, a boss, a room full of strangers on a screen who will forget them by morning. When your axis lives outside of you, you become dependent on forces you cannot control. You become predictable because anyone can move you simply by withholding warmth. You become, without ever meaning to, heavy to be around, because every interaction quietly turns into a referendum on your worth, and people can feel that weight, even when you say nothing about it. Epictetus, a man born into slavery, who became one of history's clearest minds, said it plainly 2,000 years ago. Some things are within our power, and some are not. Opinion, effort, desire, aversion, our own judgments, these are ours, entirely and completely. Reputation, approval, how someone chooses to see us on any given day, these are not ours. no matter how badly we want them to be. The Stoic does not spend his life chasing what he cannot control. He masters what he can, applies himself fully there, and lets the rest fall where it falls, without resentment and without begging. Think about the men you have actually admired in your own life, not the ones you were told to admire, but the ones whose presence changed the temperature of a room. Chances are, none of them were chasing you. None of them were performing for your approval. They were simply occupied, fully, with their own standard, and that occupation is precisely what made them magnetic. You cannot fake that quality by trying harder to be liked. You can only build it by no longer needing to be. This is not a minor adjustment to your personality. It is the entire difference between a man who is respected and a man who is merely tolerated until something better comes along. Weakness rarely looks like anger, and it rarely looks like failure. It looks like a man who cannot say no without 3 paragraphs of justification. It looks like a man who over-explains himself to people who never asked for an explanation. It looks like a man who softens every opinion until it disappears entirely, who needs a reaction, any reaction, to confirm he did something right. People can sense that hunger before you ever say a single word out loud. And hunger, no matter how well dressed, how polite, how generous it appears on the surface, does not attract people toward you. It repels them, slowly and quietly. Respect is never given to the man who begs for it, even when the begging is silent. It is given to the man who no longer needs it in order to function. So what replaces the hunger? Not arrogance, not coldness. 5 pillars, built one at a time, deliberately, the way a man builds anything meant to last. Build these, and the ground beneath you stops moving, no matter who walks toward you or away from you. The first pillar is purpose over people. A man anchored to a mission does not orbit other people's moods, because he has somewhere to be that has nothing to do with their opinion of him. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while burying friends, fighting endless wars on the frontier, and absorbing betrayal from men he trusted. And he wrote to himself every night not about what others thought of him, but about the man he was still trying to become. That private discipline, not public approval, was his anchor. Your purpose functions the same way. When you know precisely what you are building, other people's opinions become weather passing through, not verdicts handed down about your worth. You still feel the rain when it comes. You simply stop reorganizing your entire life around whether it falls. The second pillar is emotional groundedness. This is not the absence of feeling, and any man who tells you Stoicism means suppressing emotion has never actually read the philosophy. It is the refusal to be governed by feeling in the moment it arrives. A grounded man can be disappointed without collapsing. He can be criticized without shrinking into apology. He can be ignored without spiraling into performance. Without chasing an explanation, he is not owed. The Stoics called this apatheia, freedom from being enslaved by reaction, not freedom from feeling itself. Practice it simply, starting tonight. Before you respond to anything that stings, whether it's a message, a slight, a silence that lasts too long, pause for 3 full seconds. In that pause lives the entire difference between a reflex that controls you and a choice that you control. The third pillar is the power to walk away. This is the pillar that terrifies most men because walking away feels like losing, like admitting defeat in front of an audience that may not even be watching. It is the opposite of losing. The man who can leave a conversation, a negotiation, a relationship, without his voice rising and without his hands shaking, is the man everyone in the room quietly respects the most, even the ones who will never say so out loud. Approval seekers stay far too long. They explain far too much. They negotiate their own dignity down to nothing. one small concession at a time, hoping the next one will finally be enough. Sovereignty does not mean you leave everything. It means the door stays visible to you at all times, even in the rooms where you choose freely to remain. Notice the shift that happens the moment you internalize this. You stop negotiating from fear, because a man who is willing to lose the deal is the only man who can actually get a fair one. The fourth pillar is silent sovereignty. Not every thought you have needs to be spoken aloud. Not every achievement needs an audience to make it real. Not every insult thrown in your direction needs a rebuttal delivered on the spot. Seneca spent his years in exile writing letters of substance, not campaigns for public sympathy, not appeals for anyone to feel sorry for him. Silence, used deliberately, is not weakness dressed up as restraint. It is the posture of a man who no longer needs the room to confirm what he already knows to be true about himself. The less you explain yourself to people who have not earned an explanation, the less power you hand away with every sentence. The fifth pillar is internal validation, and it is the foundation the other four are built on top of. You build a private standard, one that only you can measure, one no outsider can grade for you, and you meet it whether anyone claps or not, whether anyone notices or not. You train when no one is watching. You do the work when there is no applause scheduled for it. You show up fully for the people who have actually earned your presence, not for an audience assembled to witness your worth. When the applause disappears, and eventually, for every man, it always does, the internal validation is the only structure still standing underneath you. This is the pillar that makes the other four sustainable over decades, not just for the length of one good week. Purpose can waver. Groundedness can slip under real pressure. But a man who has trained himself to answer to his own standard first has built something no external circumstance can quietly take from him. Here is what actually changes in practice once these 5 pillars take root in a man's life. The noise in your head quiets first, sometimes within days. You stop replaying old conversations at 2 a.m. You stop rehearsing explanations nobody asked you to give. You stop drafting messages you will never actually send. Then something stranger happens, something almost nobody warns you about. The right people begin moving toward you, not away. Not because you performed harder for them, but because a man who does not need you is, paradoxically, the man worth having in your life. The anxiety that used to live in your chest before every interaction starts loosening its grip because there is nothing left for it to hold on to. You already gave yourself the very thing you spent years quietly begging other people to provide. Sleep changes too, in a way few men expect. The mind that used to run inventory on every interaction before it could rest finally has nothing left to audit, because the audit was always the approval-seeking, and the approval-seeking is gone. Understand this clearly, because it is exactly where most men misread the entire lesson and turn it into something cold. This is not about becoming distant. It is not about closing yourself off, ghosting the people who genuinely matter to you, or performing indifference as a shield against getting hurt again. A man who has actually done this work still loves fully. He still commits. He still shows up completely for the people who deserve him. The difference is that now he does it from abundance, not from hunger. He respects himself enough to stop shrinking for anyone else's comfort. And that is not distance at all. That is the deepest form of self-respect one man can offer another human being, because he is finally showing up as himself, not as a performance built to be approved of. If any part of this reached you tonight, if some sentence in here landed on a place you have been carrying quietly for longer than you'd like to admit, hit like on this video right now. Not for an algorithm that doesn't know your name. Do it for the man scrolling through this exact same darkness at this exact same hour, wondering if it's just him, if he's the only one who did everything right, and still ended up alone with the question. He isn't the only one. Share this with him, and let it find him before the night convinces him otherwise. If you are ready to stop chasing and start standing on your own ground, subscribe to Unshakable Mind. Master yourself, or the world will master you.